All right, Maeve, cue the intro music. Maeve, take it away.
What?
I don't know. What's our intro music?
We don't have intro music. Fucking car revving by the sound of it.
Yeah. We should get like some CNN music. Some like primetime news.
No, I can't watch primetime. Was I telling you this last night?
What?
That I can't watch primetime.
Oh, yeah. No, I tried to show her about the gangland documentaries on YouTube about Limerick. And we started playing them. She's like, no, seriously. I won't be able to stay in Limerick anymore if you play these.
You probably freaked out.
I'm like, they're not going to break into your house. Like, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Unless, like, you start, like, beefing with them and stepping on their turf.
Start beefing
No,
with
I'm not going to beef any gangs.
Then you'll be all right. You should learn about who they are, know who to avoid when you go into town. Limerick's a small place.
I just won't go into town anymore.
That's not going to work out.
It probably will.
Just run away from your problems.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's the best way to do it.
Divorce yourself from your problems, you know?
Easy.
All right.
Right.
And welcome back. This is episode 8 of the Lift Éire Podcast. My name is Ian Benson. I'm one of your hosts today. I am joined by the glorious and lovely Alex Cremens. I'm also joined here with a co-host, Maeve Mannion, and our newest permanent co-host by popular demand, Mr. Jack Kenny. Starting off the new year with a bang. Welcome back, everybody. How was your Christmas?
Great. Yeah. Fun. Nice time away with the family.
Yeah, it was grand. It was quiet. Didn't really get up to too much. Just trained.
We had some good training sessions.
Yeah, it was good crack.
What about yourself, Maeve? You're very quiet over there. How was your Christmas?
Yeah, it was good. It was quiet. Just trained. Did the normal, other than like 8 rings around myself.
8 rings around yourself. Yeah, that's one way to phrase it.
That's how you phrase it. That's
that-
a normal saying. Tell
that
me
like-
like you've heard that before. And no,
never
it's
heard
not a
that
Port
before.
Leash thing.
That's definitely not.
That's definitely a Port
You've
Leash.
never
It's
heard.
not
I've
Port
never
Leash.
heard that. 8 rings around myself. What does that mean? I
I
can
don't know.
guess.
I just
you don't
know
even
it's
know.
a saying. Just
Okay,
means you
we'll-
outlast, like.
Yeah, well, Alex is the only man that goes through Christmas losing weight.
Yeah,
He's locked in.
it's not hard.
But yeah, I think it was a fairly chill one for me anyway. I mean, myself and yourself, Jack, have been partnered up, buddied up, training for the last couple of weeks, which has been pretty excellent. Especially for me anyway, it's making me have to be better, as Alex likes to say, just be better. So no better man to put me through my paces than Jack Kenny. So, his bad day is my best ever day.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't push it that far. Your bad day is way better than my best. But yeah, I think we've made it. We're at the other side. Jack, how does it feel to become a host of like a podcast that 4 people listen to?
It might be 5 now after Jack's on.
Yeah.
Jack's mother, next listener. Yeah.
Shout out, Mary. Yeah, because as I was saying it to you before, and I think I was saying it to the lads, but Joe, being a part of the scene, like I've wanted something like this that's just put a spotlight on our sport and just strength sports in Ireland in general. Like I've wanted something like this, and I feel the fact that no one has, that you've kind of put it amongst yourselves to just do it, and the fact that I've been able to come in and hopefully be a part of it, and we can take it to some pretty highs. I'm really excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I think you're right, shoe in fit. Especially like myself and yourself come from like an old school era of powerlifting where we're big on like what came way before, the current wave of what powerlifting is these days, and we both came into it kind of via being obsessed with just getting bigger and stronger, watching strongman comps, and that's kind of how we both ended up in powerlifting. And I think it's excellent to actually have somewhere I mention an old powerlifter. I can be like, remember Yuri Belkin? I'm not the only one there. Like, who? Yuri's not even that old school.
Yeah, he's not even that old.
When I say Mariusz Pudzianowski, you're like, oh yeah. Everyone else is like,
Who's that guy? Sure. Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's strong. Yeah, he fucking is. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's great having you here, Jack, and I'm looking forward to. We've got quite a few different things that we've planned out for this year with it as well. Some different things that you're going to be overseeing yourself with Alex, a couple of different segments and stuff. So I think we're in for some cool content in 2025. 2025, lads. New Year's resolutions. Let's talk about them. Alex, any resolutions? How are you going to be better this year than last year?
If it's even possible.
if that's even
Definitely possible. Like I was saying this to Jack kind of recently. Like there's nothing nothing's really changed. You know what I mean? Just like progress more as a lifter. Hopefully, help progress the podcast. Hopefully, progress more in my coaching. Like all of those sorts of things. Like it's as I say, just be better. Like that's literally the New Year's resolution. Like I want to look back this time next year and be like, yeah, I'm in a better place than where I was a year ago. And that's pretty much all you can ask. Like all I want to ask for myself. Get stronger as well, of course. Like my own goals within powerlifting, but outside of all that, mainly just kind of be a better version of myself, as cliche and cringe as that is true.
No, it's true. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Have you any like specific goals, comps that you want to tick off? Anything in particular that you're lining yourself up for this year?
Well, at the moment, so like I'm prepping for 11 weeks out from Euros. So my plan is just to get as close as I can to podium for that, and then hopefully just aim for prime time for Worlds, and that's the main. They're the main goals. Like I've got obviously numbers in mind, but I think when you're like, as we've talked about before, when you're competing internationally, you kind of have to remove yourself from what you want and actually realize what you need and kind of separate those two things. So I'm kind of like, I'm a lot more open-minded coming into these competitions. Like I've got numbers that I think I'm going to be capable of, but if I have to hit 5 kilos less to get on a podium, sound. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of my main thing. It's more like achievements within the sport than like in terms of totals and numbers.
Yeah. And do you think, is there any chance that this year we'll see a 9-for-9 Alex Kremers performance?
No, I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's not. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Coming up on 20 camps.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't-
Have you
don't
ever
reckon-
gone 9-for-9? No.
never my whole life. Never.
How many comps have you done?
I've like 18, 19, something like that. Yeah. No, never.
I've also never gone 9-for-9.
Have you not?
You're not trying hard enough if you're going 9 for 9.
I think I've been,
I would beg to differ.
I know. I'm joking. All right, I'm joking.
I think I have a tendency to get to my last pull and be like, all right, I did all the things I wanted by second pull.
Yeah. And just send it. Yeah,
And just send it just to see.
100%.
It's not what I get my lifters to do unless they were in a position where it's like everything we needed was locked in by the second attempt deadlift. But for the most part, just build a total.
Yeah.
Just if you're still building totals and climbing ranks, then do that. I'm so far beneath the ranks that I've nothing to climb, so I just set my own personal goals.
We're gonna make our own thing.
We're gonna make our own things. What about yourself, Maeve? What's on the cards for you this year?
Well, I would like more sleep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Good goal. Yeah.
That's
I think that's like
solid
Yeah,
goal.
a pretty tangible goal. And then after that, I suppose like we ended 2024 like after qualifying for open nats or hitting the QT for open nats, so just work towards that. And in an ideal world, podium at open nats. So that'll kind of be my goal for the year.
And what you say? What's your next comp?
June.
June. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So-
I should know that.
I was gonna say. I was like,
I do. I knew it
acting
was
like you don't coach. You're like, oh,
DM coach.
like I wear many hats. This hat is this is the hat that I'm wearing today.
He's wearing the
I'm a-
silver fox hat at
I'm
the
a
moment.
podcaster today. I'm a podcaster today. Kind of like the Joe Rogan of Irish powerlifting.
Let's stop this right now before.
Yeah, okay, let's stop this.
Yeah.
All right, so
before-
Maeve, more sleep, couple of comps coming up, maybe podium at Nationals. It's a big year.
Yeah.
Very big year.
Definitely my biggest year so far. Hopefully.
Yeah, but more to come, obviously.
Yeah, I'll say this now and I'll be
Touch
in
wood.
tears by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, by the end of the week.
End of the episode.
Arguably tomorrow's
And
the
it's
end of the
already
week.
Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. There could be tears today.
There won't be.
There might be.
There won't be.
Well, I mean,
We'll
I'll
wait
be
and see.
concerned either way.
I'd actually bet money that there won't be.
So, what about yourself then, Jack? What have you got planned this year? We're making the big comeback.
Big comeback. So I'd be very similar to Alex in the sense where I don't have any major goals like today that I didn't have on Monday. Like New Year's was on Tuesday. To me, it just felt like a normal Tuesday. I do really like when people do have New Year's resolutions. If it helps you, by all means, go for it. Like anything that makes you better, like do it. Like goals that I had last year that I echoed on the last podcast that I was on. Want to do a competition in April. The competition here, qualify for nationals and win that. So I want to do 2 comps, win them both, get some good numbers under, and just go from there.
Yeah.
So that's on paper what I want to do. Obviously, there's lots of little things, like just sleep a bit more, just try and hit my macros a bit better, just those little things. But in terms of like grand goals, it's just doing those 2 comps, doing as best as I can at those, and just lead myself on then for the rest of the year going into next year.
Yeah, I think it's like really important when we do set goals like that. Like you see it, I think New Year's resolutions can sometimes get a bit of a hard rap, and deservedly so in some ways. I think there's ways that you can lean into that and actually make the most of it if you lean into it the right way. And I think there was a study that had come out recently. I think it was an analysis of 70,000 people, and it was to do with extrinsic versus intrinsic goals and how. I'll pull up a little bit of it here. So an evidence base spanning nearly 30 years indicates that focusing on intrinsic goals such as for growth, relationships, community giving and health promoted well-being, whereas a focus on extrinsic goals such as for wealth, fame or beauty deters well-being. And I think like that, if we spin that around into strength training or competing, it's sometimes just looking to grow as an athlete, looking to compete better, looking to dial things in, getting 1% better, 1 or 2% better here and there. That's ultimately going to serve you a lot better rather than saying, I'm going to hit these exact numbers or win these specific comps. I think, the evidence would show and suggest that focusing on such specific, like, I want to squat this exact number by this exact date, actually sets people up for failure all the time. It puts you under this immense amount of pressure. Whether you do or don't get it, it leads to feelings of ill-being. Whereas focusing on the process, being more process-oriented than outcome-oriented, actually serves people a lot better. I just found that quite interesting, and I think it's very fitting coming into, given that it's, first week of January, and
100%.
a lot of people are going to be doing that. I think as well, like, you're going to have seen a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it on people's stories, the whoop banders. You're going to see a lot of whoop banders. Any of you ever used them?
No, never.
So I used the whoop band. I'd say I probably used it on and off for like 2 years total. I gave it a good dart
good.
for like the first year. Yeah. My experience with the whoop band is it's grand. It's like another data point, but I think things like that can actually create these massive barriers.
It's like almost counterproductive for what it's meant to do.
Because like when we have training, so I think it's really suitable for someone maybe that like is into lifestyle fitness, right? So if you do CrossFit classes or high rocks or just like going to the gym and looking after yourself, I think it could be a useful tool for someone like that. It's like if you're Gen Pop and you're not competing for something specific, what are you killing yourself for? Like, but it can be quite aggressive. You look at it and it's got like your percentage of recovery, right? So for me, I sleep terribly. So I was always in the red. So I would already come in on the back foot feeling like, all right, I'm really up against it today. Yep. Whereas if I didn't have that information, it would have just been any other day. It's like there were just different factors, especially my daughter was firstborn stuff. There were things that I just couldn't do to improve those circumstances. So I think you do see a lot of that. So especially in regards to like strength based, actually, I would say take those metrics with a pinch of salt. Yeah. I would use it, however, to see am I sleeping better than I was before. I would almost like ignore the recovery aspect of it and just go.
Just look for improvement through it.
Have I improved this one tangible metric?
Yeah.
I think like I know it's different, but like the Oura Ring does that slightly better because there's less in terms of, now maybe I'm just using it wrong, but there's less in terms of like your actual recovery index. Now, like that, I'm waking up every morning and it's like, your sleep was terrible, but like you can't.
Yeah, you can't give it too much weight. Like it's probably right, but also I still have these numbers that I gotta get done. I have a session to get through regardless.
That's what I was gonna go down with that. I think it's like you said. I think it's actually very specific for like a certain type of lifter. You know what I mean? Like when in terms of strength sports, like you have to be the type of person that's like aware of those things, because we can all think of somebody who wake up in the morning and see that they got like shit sleep on their whoop band or whatever, and then they'll be like, I'm not even training today, because no, but genuine, like there's so many people who are like, I'm not even gonna risk it, you know, and then they'll almost like placebo themselves into having a terrible session. Whereas if you just wake up and you could have had, 2 hours of actual good quality sleep, but you wouldn't know, you could still feel really good, you know. So I think it's it's like taking all that information with a pinch of salt, and sometimes realizing you just have to fucking get on with it.
Don't let the little black bracelet in your wrist determine
100%.
your training.
Determine your session before you even get under a barbell. Yeah.
I think, my bracelet said I can't train today, so better take the day off. I'm like, well, the comp is coming regardless. You can't buy back time.
Yeah,
It's like, but you're 1 week out. It's like, nah.
My bracelet.
The whoop told me.
The whoop told me.
That honestly sounds like what you get when you're like on house arrest.
Oh, like the monitor bracelet?
Yeah, it
I
sounds like
wouldn't
that.
know. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
I don't know. I would hope not.
It's an anklet. and they're itchy. I've never been under house arrest. Can't keep bad things. But yeah, I think I have the Aura Ring as well. I haven't charged it in weeks. I haven't actually opened the app in weeks.
This? I've never heard of it. Is
So
it a
it's
watch?
this.
Oh,
So
it's
Maeve has in gold. So that's the ring that I wear. It's the Aura Ring. So very, very similar to the Whoop. I prefer the user interface of the Whoop.
What kind of
That's
metrics
mad.
would I give you?
The exact
I've never
same
heard of this before in my
as,
life.
Yeah, Shane Story wears one as well.
That's
Wears it in
mad.
black.
a Whoop.
All right.
But apparently there
How much
was
are they? Bit
About the
pricey?
same price per year. There's the same price
Yeah.
roughly as a
Right.
Whoop. So
Okay.
the Whoop band, you get the Whoop for free, I think, with a 30 something a month subscription.
All right.
Whereas this, you spend like 250 to 300 upfront, depending on the style of ring you go for. But it's like a $5 a month subscription.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
so it's
yeah, yeah.
basically free.
There you go.
Girl
Yeah,
math,
with that.
it's
Yeah,
free.
yeah, girl math.
Girl
Yeah.
math, it's free.
It's actually economically, it's cheaper after year one. than
Yeah,
the Whoop
yeah,
is.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
actually
so
becomes-
If you're going to
Free.
consistently use
Yeah.
it, like it's probably
So I'm a fan of it, but that's because I'm just kind of nerdy for stuff like that. As you know, I love wasting money on pointless, tangible things.
burning holes in
Just burning holes in pockets, burning relationships left, right, and center. Anything I can burn, I'll do it. But yeah, I think the Aura Ring I personally prefer. I also find it a lot easier for wearing when I sleep. The band, I would move a lot. I'd have my shoulders all fucked up. I'd have to move them in weird positions, and if it gets caught under the pillow, the band would move, and it stopped picking up my sleep properly.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah,
stopped
yeah.
using it.
Fair enough.
So it just became like really unreliable for me. I don't know what other people's experiences are, but that was my experience of it. Anyone I've seen use it likes it for a little while, and then that kind of new year, new me buzz starts to fade
the
off.
novelty of it goes away.
The
like,
novelty
yeah.
fades off. But seeing as none of you asked my goals this year,
You didn't give us a chance.
there was loads of chances.
Sorry.
What are your
Ian,
goals
what are
this
your
year?
What are
goals
your
this
goals,
year?
Ian?
Just be kind.
2 days in, he's already fucked it anyway.
You sound like
Try again
Mr.
next year.
Geniality, like I just want world peace.
I just want everybody to get along. Just want to make a few more friends.
Everybody love everybody.
Just no diddy.
They're on there.
My own goals are, I think like that. It's simpler things like sleep better. Try and just chill a bit more. I can be quite intense, as you know. So that's if you think
Never.
it's stressful for you, you should try like being me and then coming away afterwards. Was I too intense? Yes, the answer is always yes. I was too intense. But I think just like kind of relaxing a little bit more, not being in such a rush to like get everything done, and just generally be under a lot less stress. I think the way kind of things have gone for me professionally and athletically over the last year or so have gone quite well. So just kind of lean into that a little bit more. Small things, obviously, that I can do are going to be sleeping better, eating a bit better, and more consistently for longer periods of time. I think hydration is another big one for me that I want to do. But on a personal level, spend more time with my kids. That's never going to be a bad shout. Just being more present there at home. Not that I'm not present, but just being more aware of it. And honestly, I want to read more. That's a big goal for me this year.
Can you read?
I can read. me read good. Me read good. Jack Keeney. Yeah, read more. I think it's something that I could use as kind of a de-stress, a wind down tool, and ultimately, hopefully, make me somewhat more intelligent. Maybe, but that would be a great outcome. Athletically, I've got a comp coming up in February. We've got Ulster Strongest Man is on. I'm going to be doing Ireland's Strongest Novice is running alongside it. So I think the events are the same. I'm not sure if the weights are the same. I think they are. If I do well there and I win that, I get into Ireland's Strongest Man. But ultimately, I'm just doing it because that was the date of the next strongman comp that suits me.
Yeah.
Got a car deadlift. It's cool as fuck. Me and you have gone out and pulled cars.
dabbled with it,
We've
yeah.
also, by the way, speaking of pulling that car, we've got on the ones and twos today. Jamie, if you want to give us a wave. Yeah, so we've got big Jamie Fitz on the ones and twos looking
Fresh
after the
out of
cameras
jail.
today. Fresh,
Fresh out of the pen, didn't you?
fresh out of the pen, fresh out of the jail of his mother's house. What you get grounded for, Jamie?
Good save.
Jamie was grounded.
Was he grounded?
He was grounded. I rang his mother, said he was acting the bollock, so he got grounded.
Just for context, how old is Jamie?
Jamie
18.
is 18, going on 14.
That was kind. I'd have given 12.
Nah, that's the size of him. He wears a size. I think he wears a size 12 shoe, but we had him measure before. He's a size 10.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, this is facts. I love you, Jamie. Keep coming. He's still in that phase of his life where he wants to tell people he's got bigger feet than he does because it's like It's like a flex. You know, when you're in school, I've got the biggest feet in school. But yeah, moving on. Ultra strongest man. I'll do ultra strongest novice there. I've got Ab Series, big Clash of the Titans. I'll be in Clash of the Minions in April. So that's a couple of weeks after you compete. Again, a couple of weeks after Alex competes, and a few weeks before, about 8 weeks before you compete, I suppose. Yeah. We're all kind of lining up fairly well together. Do that. Hopefully, come out total in around 850. I just want to go out and have a good day. Really, it's podiums or dots are irrelevant. Just want to go out, put up something I can build on for the rest of the year, and get back on a platform. It's been a minute since I've been on a platform, so do that and just kind of see where the journey takes me. But ultimately, looking after all the other things and enjoying training, staying as injury free as I can. You know, I wouldn't be injury prone, but I'm old as shit, as you know. So this cranky body gets cranky, as Jack knows. He sees, he's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "As all right as I'm ever gonna be." There's always something.
All right, so we're doing it.
Yeah, right. There's always something to give out about. But yeah, I think I think it's interesting just to kind of hear where everyone wants to go. And I think, is there any kind of takeaway advice you would give to any of the listeners for things that they could put into actual practice? A lot of people are going to have written down these big long lists of things they want to do and become fixated on them. You know, what's some practical takeaway advice you think we could give people for setting goals for the year?
Well, I suppose. Oh, do you want to go?
No, go on, go.
Well, like looking at all of our goals, there's nothing massively out of reach, and like you said, there's nothing kind of different today than what there was at the start of the week in terms of our goals. So I would definitely say just start small and actually make them realistic so that you can action them. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. What about yourself, Jack?
Yeah, I know it's going to sound pretty basic, but it's just like the literal act of setting goals, because I know we all have these thoughts of what we want to do, but actually trying to make a clear path to getting there. So if you have a lofty goal of like totaling X amount of kilos, like just trying to figure out a path to get there, and like that path might or might not work, but like just having that road almost set that you can follow, rather than just going into the gym aimlessly trying to go hard, but there's no almost kind of purpose behind it. So just have a goal, but then like kind of Maeve said, have smaller goals to build towards that.
Yeah. Kind of have that big picture goal, and then work backwards from there. Break it down dot by dot, week by week. What do we need to do by the end of this block to move the needle forward to get us a little bit closer to that? And then you actually get a realistic understanding. That's why I think it's always important to be careful when you're setting such specific goals. It's like, if the goal is to get better, be realistic with how much better you could actually get. Doesn't matter like how locked in you get, how hard you go, how many bags of creatine and amino acids you buy. It's like there's only so much you can do, and it's I think, again, just getting into the process of it and becoming really process driven. Every session counts, and making the most of each session. So when you come out of each one going, I'm a little bit closer to where I want to be. I think that's very, very important. And then for yourself, Alex, I think it's really important because you're the head coach of the Irish national team in the Irish PF. What are some like good takeaways? Because you're going to see a lot of these like young kids are going to be coming out like wanting to be the best in the world, right? It comes with the territory of the age.
Of course.
What's some good takeaway advice you'd give there?
Just, like touching off what the two lads said, same thing. Like, just set realistic goals, take your time, and like actually make sure it's realistic. Like, don't, like, how do I say it? Like with New Year's resolutions and these goals and things, totals and all this kind of stuff. Like, just because you write it down on a piece of paper doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Like, you can't fucking manifest your dreams. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can to an extent, but I mean, like, just because you think you want it or you say you want it, you have to actually follow up with those sort of things. So I think that's a big thing with people. And then just like managing expectations, like, you know, like we were talking about before, you see it with juniors, like the amount of times that I hear people, they're like, oh, I'm not competing till I'm hitting this number, or I'm not going to compete until I'm getting invited to the national team, or this and that and the other. And it's like, you move away from like from focusing on like the actual process and like enjoying it. So then all that happens is, like you were talking about, the intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. It's like you're focusing on this one goal, and then which probably does happen is like these kids, they're like, oh, if I hit this total in 7 months' time, presuming that nobody else is going to get stronger, I'll be going to an international next year, this, that, and the other. And then they get there, and two people end up beating them, and then they end up essentially resenting the whole prep and their whole sport because they had set this one goal and nothing else around it. So I think that's the main thing, is like for juniors in particular, just take your time, enjoy the process of lifting is like, once again, as cliche as that is, but it's like these things are said so often because they're true. It's not like they're just thrown out there for no reason. Take it slow. Like, don't force yourself to make progress, and just realize that every single time that the only way you're actually going to move forward is by actually doing something. Like, you can't just sit around and be like, oh, I want to get stronger, but then don't change anything to make something stronger. If you want things to change, you're going to have to change, pretty much, you know? I don't know if I just waffled there, but yeah, just slow down, enjoy the process, and don't put this crazy amount of pressure on yourself to get to these places. Like, have your goals set, and if you achieve them, class, but also be realistic with yourself and kind of have that conversation with yourself beforehand and be like, if I don't achieve these goals, I'm going to set myself other smaller ones that I could still reflect on and be happy with, even if I don't achieve this big overall goal of X total or something like that, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's some really actual solid. Who is this guy?
New year, new me. New year, new me.
Whoa, how
Been
long is this
practicing
that
that all week.
He has been
Alex,
making
did you
notes.
turn 25 before Christmas or 26?
25.
Oh, your frontal lobe is developing.
That's it. Sorted.
I can see
It's making
before my
sense.
very eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so old, mine's starting to degenerate.
We're going opposite directions.
No, I
That
think
was possibly like the most sense
that was
I've
really
ever
good.
heard.
That was really good.
that was profound Kremens right there.
It's me when I actually like concentrate.
We got a new holy coach over here. The gospel by
We have
Alex.
enough of him. We have enough of him.
Well, I think, as you were saying, I think it's really important. One thing that I want to highlight with it is, I don't know if anyone had seen it, but Andrew Blackwood a couple of weeks ago put up on his story a picture. He laid out all of his medals and starts from his junior career, because he's obviously just finished his junior career now, on his bed, and he laid them all out, put up a picture of it. And I think that's really important. I think there's a really important message there for up and coming juniors, because everybody wants to rush their way to the front of the queue, but as we see, a lot of junior lifters just don't make it out of junior.
Yeah.
They don't make it into the open. Once they turn up, and it's like, I'm sure we could all think of a few people. We're not going to put anyone on blast, but there's definitely a couple of people that come to mind for me that I've seen that were really, really good, competed internationally, and then just never managed to make it back from that, because it was like the climb was almost too much again, because they identified as being like up here, and I think all their goals were set around being the best of who they were then, rather than getting into the making small progress over a long period of time. They kind of lost sight of that. When all of it is fixated on just this, I'm going to do this one thing. I think seeing Blackwood put up that journey, whether it's through going up weight classes, becoming one of the best ever Irish PF athletes that we've seen so far to date. Yep. And he did that over a very, very long period of time, and he's only going to continue to do more and become better. I think it's really, really important to do that. And it's just about balancing that ambition with something that's a bit more sustainable. It has to be sustainable. And if it's always about, I think we see Eamon Breen is now moving around doing different bits and pieces. Yeah. He's looking outside of the Irish PF just so he can keep things interesting for himself.
Just enjoy the sport,
Enjoy
the novelty
sport,
of it.
Learn the novelty. He wants to play around with raps, and he wants to come in and learn from some other people and just be around it and grow as an athlete. I think that's really, really important. He's also in a privileged position with his strength-wise that he can just kind of dip in and out, right? So that's a great place to be at. But the ultimate take-home message for me from that is, don't be afraid to try other things. Yeah. It's don't pigeonhole and identify yourself as this one weight class or this one sport or this one federation. Get out there, dip your toes, see what you make of it elsewhere. And it's a good way to occupy the time as you're growing as a lifter. Let that total build. And as it's building, you should try other things in the middle there. You 100%. Don't have to fully commit yourself into one thing. Yeah. Speaking of goal setting for 2025, I'd like to look back a little bit and go, what are some highlights for you guys from 2024? I don't think we have to go too far in and make a big list of things, but I would definitely be keen to hear what were some of the top moments for people, or some of the standout athletes, or moments in competitions that you saw, either as an athlete, as a coach, or just as a spectator or lover of these sports. Alex, what for yourself? What were some standout moments for you in 2024?
Just going off the top of my head, obviously, from my own experience in terms of being at a comp, handling somebody in coaching would probably be obviously Euros with Andrew Blackwood. Just that final pull, the whole rigmarole of everything that happened. It was just it was mad. It was like fucking being a part of a movie, pretty much. Yeah. So that was incredible. Outside of that, one that stands out to me hugely would just have been Jordan Bright's performance at Nationals. That was wild, insane. You know what I mean? Pretty much solidified herself as she was always an incredible lifter, but solidified herself as like one of the best lifters in the whole country ever. I think I could be wrong now, but I'm pretty sure like her total that she put up is like top 20 in like the 69s like all time in like under the IPF. You know what I mean? Like so it's insane. Like we've got like, you know, she's somebody who's the best in the world in that weight class. It's incredible. And it's really, really cool. And she's literally just getting started as well. So that excites me more than anything else. You know, I think, they'd be the two that kind of stand out to me, myself. Obviously, I had so many lifters who've competed over the years over this year, and I've competed myself, and they were all great performances, and the experiences with coaching internationally at both Euros and Worlds were incredible. There's probably too many, so don't I'll stick with those two because I could be here all day talking about my favorite moments.
What about for yourself, Maeve? Any standout moments of 2024 as an athlete, as you know, just a lover of the sport, as being part of a crew or a team, anyone, or any just standout moments just as a fan?
Well, I definitely really enjoyed Malta. That was my
Class.
first
Junior Euros, yeah.
that was my first experience.
Oh no, that was Junior Worlds, right?
Junior
Junior Worlds
Yeah.
in Malta,
At any kind of international comp, so it was really nice to see, and like we just had a great time for the few days that we were over there. Alex, you stole mine. I was definitely going to say Jordan.
Sorry.
The 200 kilo squat, it was just wild. And then probably Sarah's performance at Open Nationals. Just her last deadlift and not knowing what was going to happen after that. And then like going into her afterwards in the back.
Yeah. What about for yourself as a lifter?
For myself as a lifter,
She had a couple of good comps.
3 9 for 9 days.
Must be nice.
I don't know. I just wouldn't be trying hard.
DM for
There you
coaching.
go. You didn't try hard enough. That's right.
Didn't try hard enough. I don't know. Didn't try hard enough. Probably the last comp of the year. Just because it was quite a tough prep. So to come out the other side of it and have a good day, regardless of like the circumstances, was probably one that I can look back on and I don't know, be like proud of, that I like managed to kind of hold it together, get the job done, and hit the QT for next year. Like obviously every comp I did, actually all 3 I did last year were like quite enjoyable. Like the first one here, the first USAPL comp, so like they were all pinnacles in themselves.
I'd probably agree. Your last comp of the year in Carrick-on-Shore, that for me was probably my favourite performance of yours, because there was just so much more in it than the other ones. And watch you come back into the RHPF, total 400, 9 for 9 day, just piecing up a day. That was probably my favourite one, just to watch you kind of grow as a lifter. I think the USAPL comp was quite good. That was obviously, you know, I have my own biases for why that comp meant a lot. But seeing you on that last one in December, I thought that was actually, I would have to agree with you, that was actually a really good performance. Just watching you kind of grow as an athlete there, I was like, this is who she needs to be. Not just chasing things down, actually having these, like, we're building, the goal of that one was qualifying total, not going to hit this PB, that PB. It's
because I didn't actually hit any like PBs that day. Like it was like 15 or 25 kilos off my best total, but like I did what I needed to do that day.
Yeah, you competed.
All that mattered.
You learned how to compete.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a big thing. A lot of people go into a comp to do a comp and they're just trying to hit certain numbers when they go, you know, all out every comp. I don't think you need to go all out every comp. I don't think you should. I think you should just piece up what do you need to move into the next one. And you might actually be able to compete more frequently by doing it that way, rather than like going all out every comp and then needing to take a month off just to recover comp to comp. I think you can compete more regularly if you're building yourself up and not going all out at your best ever peak leading into one comp, just kind of gradually build into each one. What about yourself, Jack? What are some standout moments of strength sports in 2024 for you? I know as an athlete you were just kind of sitting back, rebuilding yourself. What about as just a fan of the sport?
So yeah, I won't go too much into the national scene because obviously Alex and Maeve spoke about Andrew and Jordan. Shout out to them, fucking savages. Like, you know, Jordan Bright total 512, like 527,
over 5. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Savage. And then Andrew Blackwood, like just that day he had to get to the end of it. I mean, a lot of people I think would have crumbled, or you know, just pulled it in, just said no, just leave it. To still go out, shout out to him. That's a true definition of what a competitor is. To just see it out. But in an international scene, I think I get a sicko. Like think in 2023 she came second at Worlds and like 11th at Sheffield. She won both of them last year. Competed 9 times.
And still a junior.
Still 21. 21 years of age. She competed 9 times last year, and she won every comp.
Yeah, it was
Like
wild.
that is just. I mean,
It's flex.
that's hardcore. That's heavy.
Yeah, she did that comp in France as well. What was
The
the
bench comp.
girl
no,
power?
F,
or
F
girl
Force, yeah, the
Was that called girl power?
yeah.
Yeah.
That looked like a cool comp
It's
as well.
insane, yeah, it's cool.
I think she done that bench comp. Was it in the Arnold? She done like a bench comp and like a bench shirt. I think that was the only comp she didn't win. But I think she done 10 comps last
It's
year.
insane, man.
Won 9 of them.
Just throwing on a bench shirt for funsies.
Just threw it on because I think she have 3 world records in the bench in the 84.
In 3 different weight classes, yeah.
69s.
Yeah,
like
she's freak.
Jesus, man,
Freak.
freaky stuff. And I think Gustav as well.
Class, yeah.
Winning worlds
And Sheffield.
And Sheffield.
And
yeah.
Sheffield, yeah.
Hardcore. Like, I mean, the fact now in powerlifting we have multiple premier comps like in the 1 year. It's almost like because you would see it in other sports when like team wins like national titles or like worlds, style comps. The fact that we have something similar now in powerlifting that you can cement like at a given year, like you showed up more than once against all of the best and you still won.
Yeah.
Like those performances like will go down.
Oh,
Yeah,
time.
that's a
in history,
champion.
like, yeah,
Oh, they're 100%.
Those are champion
Yeah.
performances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, looking at 2024 coaching highlights, probably, I mean, it's got to be Sarah McCormick probably takes the top spot. I mean, I've seen her come back from a pretty annoying injury that stalled all progress. She hung in there, kind of just kept turning up every single day, and then seeing her come out for, well, she did bench nationals. We won't talk about that. But I think with seeing her do her first ever open comp and doing open nationals, winning under pressure there, I think, we just saw the best well-rounded out version of Sarah. And I think the lead up from Junior Worlds, Junior Euros, and then coming into that was, I think all that experience you could just see really stood to her. So to see someone like really mature as an athlete and, refine themselves as a competitor comp to comp, just seeing that, and then I was lucky enough that I got to get the best version of her on that day. I think was incredible. I think some other standout moments probably be TJ. TJ had an impeccable performance. I mean, twice, but his last one was huge, qualifying for ABS Pro-Am, winning D1 again under pressure, again coming away with another 9 for 9 performance there. And that's hard, especially when you're under pressure and you're making calls. It's easy when you're not under pressure to go 9 for 9 almost, right? But to do it under pressure, where this is win or lose,
Yeah, it's a different story.
it's a different story, and that was really, really cool. Obviously, Maeve, you've had some big comps. I had another girl, Louise, that I coach. She competed in the USAPL comp in February, and that was her first comp back after like a full knee reconstruction. So to see her kind of come back from that was really, really cool. There's been other standout performances and other lifters, like Kerry's done incredibly well. Too many lifters kind of get into naming everyone, but there's been a lot of like really, really great performances that I'm really proud
Jamie.
of. Big
Don't forget
Jamie.
Jamie.
Big Jamie on the ones
The
and
man.
twos. A big year coming up for Jamie this year as
Facts.
well. You can see he's really, really dialed things in, and he needs a little bit of hand holding, a few slaps every now and then. But
Don't we all?
don't we all?
Genuinely,
Me more
like,
than
yeah.
anyone. That's why we got Kenny around. With the ring, Jack. Listen, Jack. There's no other man going to bait me. So
I gotcha.
I need someone's pocket to hold. Someone to put me in my box. And well and truly, I am in that box. And never getting out of it from the looks of things. But listen, that's a story for another day. I think that'd be the stuff for a coach. As an athlete, I didn't do a whole pod. I got to do my first strongman comp, which was a really cool experience. So enjoying that, and it's like looking forward to dabbling a little bit more in that sport, seeing kind of where I can go. But yeah, the coaching moments, that would be it. In terms of like other athletes, I mean, Jordan Bright, obviously, but I think a big standout for me would be seeing Jodie Stevens come back.
Yeah.
When she competed at the USAPL comp in Galway,
Can't wait for that.
the Connacht Championships. That was really, really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does back in the Irish PF this year.
Yeah.
But I think a big highlight for me of 24, controversially, well, it's not that controversial, but it might get that way when we get into it. It was the first USAPL comp, the Leinster Championships. We had that on the warehouse in Dublin. When I look back on that comp, I'm like, I just remember that first moment where the house was packed out top to bottom. the lights, everything, just the setup of it. Sure, there were things that could have been done better, run better, but I think the overall essence of what that meant for me anyway was huge. I just thought it was such a special moment for me to have been to played a big role in. Obviously, it went the way that it went towards the end. You know, multitude of factors there, miscommunications between ourselves organizing it, people just not really doing everything that they could have. I think it was easy to sit in your hands a little bit, and things just kind of got a bit messy along the way. And then obviously there were some barriers with USAPL in America. There was a lot of like miscommunication there and some messy things. Again, good learning experiences, but you know, it was what it was towards the end. I suppose we'll have to bring it up, which was the Euro Tour final. Anybody? I wasn't there. Either were the rest of us. We were all in Carrick on shore.
There wasn't a lot of people there in general.
There wasn't a lot of people there in general. Now, look, I feel for anyone that came over and prepped for this comp, and unfortunately got into the worst weather that I think we had all year.
Sure,
Yeah.
Terrible timing.
They literally blew the roof off the place. I think someone was wearing a mask and somebody else got offended and it kicked off a whole pile of stuff. And
I think I know who that guy was.
yeah. I think it got a little bit messy up there. But the guys that came out and tried to organize it and volunteered, like, I mean, fair play to them. They came out and they put that on to still make sure that it could go ahead for lifters. And then apparently the comp wasn't sanctioned. Now, I can tell you this. I can clear this up real easy. I know for a fact, because I was part of these discussions and part of these emails, I know that on our end, we were told it was sanctioned. We were told it was looked after. The way comps were working with the USAPL is when we first initially announced our first provisional calendar, and then all of the dates had to change because what we weren't made aware of was that these had to be sanctioned in advance with a venue before USAPL would grant permission for you to announce the comp. We didn't know that at the beginning. Then we knew, and then we had made sure that everything had been set up for the Euro Tour final, which was actually being organised by USAPL England. We were just hosting. It actually was supposed to be us. Then it got moved to Netherlands. Then it came back to us. Very, very kind of all over the shop. But that's fine. We're like, all right, cool, we'll do that. So I had seen the emails go back and forth with USAPL. I was part of them. I know for a fact that on our end, it was supposed to have been sanctioned. If that didn't go through, that was not on us. If anyone saw it on stories that were shared on social media with screenshots of different things, people getting back and forth, I'm not really into all the dramatic bullshit with it. Yeah. I mean, I love sitting back watching it, but I've no interest in being in the middle of it. There was a lot that was kind of left that was promised to us that just didn't come through, and it ultimately made us look like dickheads, and I think it soured the whole experience, and ultimately the people that suffered were the lifters. But what I am thankful for is I'm thankful for the opportunity that I got from it. I think I got to have a really cool moment with the first USAPL comp. Yeah. That meant a lot to me.
It was a great comp.
It was a great comp.
Was so good.
It was a great comp. I think just the venue, it looked like there was like, okay, this could be a thing, and I think I get to take away a lot from that experience. And I think we've all kind of said it. It looks like it played a hand in the Irish PF upping their own game, whether it was in the pipeline or not. But it did. A rising tide raises all ships, 100%. And we certainly saw that ship rise.
Definitely.
And I think it's so. I think no bad came of it. No. I would still like to see an alternative. I think alternatives are good. Obviously, Article 14 makes things a bit stickier and messy and da-da-da. But if we can see anything, it doesn't seem to have had so much of an impact at all. Doesn't mean it won't down the line. But so far, I think it's made little to no difference other than people are a bit sketchier. But if you're a regional level lifter and there's an alternative platform there, I think it's a good shout to just get involved in more things. We saw I saw it go up last night. GPC are hosting a push-pull comp in April in City Gym.
Yeah.
So no
charity
way.
comp, yeah, under GPC. So if you're in the Limerick area and you fancy just doing a push-pull comp and going out and just maxing out your deadlift on a deadlift bar.
Let's go.
Most young fellas do it in a normal week anyway.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you might as well go in and do something for it.
It'll be sanctioned. It'll be official. Go out, go do it. Have some fun with it because that's what the sport is about at the end of the day. And it goes 100%. Towards charity. It's raising money for the homeless in Limerick. So I think ultimately it's going to go to a very good cause. If it lines up with me, I'm definitely going to jump in if it lines up and go out, max out my bench and my deadlift. Just YOLO it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Class,
You know what I mean? Why not? And it's on my back door. So,
it sounds like a bit of fun too.
You know,
if you crack,
obviously for some people you're going to have to take into consideration Article 14 if you are a higher level lifter with international ambitions or national level ambitions. But if you're not, and you just want to dog it out.
Just have a laugh.
Go off, have some fun with it.
Yeah.
How do we feel like the sport has kind of grown over the last year? Like, what do we see was the significant standout from 2023 to the end of 24, leading into 25? How do you feel like the sport has evolved, even just strength sports in general, across the board in Ireland? What do we feel contributed to that?
Well, I mean, I think the first one that just sticks out to me, we were just talking about this before it started, but is like big one is Nike. You know, Nike trying to crossing over and releasing a power bar, which, you know, there was a bit of skepticism we were talking about at the very start, and then we saw a video of Jesus squatting over 400 with it. It's like, all right,
it's all right.
you know, who are we to judge after that?
Yeah,
It's like, I think my 200 kilo squats to be sound like, you know,
we should be
all
all
right.
I know about that. I did feel great.
Yeah. But I think, like, you know, like that's literally what Jack was saying earlier, is like it'd be very interesting to see, like, is this them just releasing a bar and being like, this is a barbell, or are they actually going to, maybe by this time next year we'll be talking about Nike releasing singlets, wrist straps, knee sleeves, like the whole shebang, actually becoming a sponsor of maybe the IPF, or they might break into like a different, make their own comps, or break into a different side of powerlifting entirely, or just strength sports. Like, that'd be cool. Imagine they made their own, like, fed.
Yeah,
imagine they started up their own fed. Like, if you're
Like you world champion.
yeah. Do you know, something like that? Like,
prize money.
if there was anyone that wouldn't have to worry about affording it, it'd be them. You know
It'd be
what I
them.
mean?
Yeah,
So-
they could literally rattle everything if they wanted to.
But
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it, like,
100%.
do you know,
Yeah.
because we have Sheffield that's
Yeah.
sponsored by
SPD, yeah.
and like they're probably like the biggest company that have not a stranglehold, but they're just the biggest in our space.
Yeah.
Nike, I don't know about the figures, but they would dwarf.
Oh,
SPD.
absolutely.
yeah.
In terms of revenue
absolutely.
and the sheer capital that they have,
100%.
I'd say 10 times easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted, they could just go, right, we'll buy SPD. How much?
Yeah, we'll just
You know what I mean?
Literally,
If
yeah.
that's what they
Yeah.
wanted to do.
Yeah.
because they could pump, if they wanted to in a year, they could pump 10 or 15 million quid into a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And between prize monies and whatever, they could do that pretty easily.
It's just a drop in the ocean to them.
To them, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like. So I would love to talk to someone from Nike to just see like what the kind of vision is for that.
Yeah.
Because I guess like they're more of an apparel company, and like
Yeah.
you know, me and Maeve were talking about it, where like I would have thought that they would have gone down the lines of like A7, like just start off with singlets and wrist straps and knee sleeves. But they've gone straight past that, gone to make an
Equipment.
actual,
Yeah. It's
actual
interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
super interesting.
Yeah.
And then as well, I guess with like them using Dan Griggs firstly to back the bar, and then like I guess with sports and like how people in the general world view it, did they even take into account like tested and untested lifters?
Yeah, is that even on their radar?
Yeah,
Is
like
it-
how
I'm
do you-
curious about? Are they just going like, who are the biggest, strongest?
Who's just
Is
the
that
biggest?
what- Dan Griggs,
yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, because like they probably could have gone for Russell or he, and like that probably would have been like maybe a better shoe and fit just with the look he has.
Yeah.
But I would assume they probably just thought, you know, who can pull the most
This guy's
weight?
stronger than everyone
It's
else.
a guy
Yeah.
called Dan Griggs, so we just want him. So.
Yeah.
But it is. I'm very interested, and I'm looking forward to seeing like where that goes. It might go nowhere. Maybe it might just
Yeah,
go.
It could
there.
just be like,
Yeah.
here's a barbell.
Yeah.
Do you know? Go on.
And
But
Yeah.
then, like, if they were just making a barbell, like, why did they make it to the spec of like the IPF?
And where they sending it
Why
to
would you
people
bother?
who are competing in the
Yeah.
IPF, like Jesus, you know, like they must know. They understand what the market is to an extent, at least, you
Yeah,
know.
they're
So
going
it's
somewhere with
interesting.
it. I'm curious to see where they go with it. Yeah, I think that was cool to kind of see that growth last year and just see the sport get some additional recognition, especially from such a huge brand, just from out of nowhere.
Insane, yeah,
from out of
yeah.
nowhere. I thought it was massive. How do we feel like Irish strength sports have evolved in general this year or last year, I should say?
Yeah, well, I think in general, like standards are always raising. So, like you know, you'd obviously see with lifters, tolls are just getting bigger. Like whether it's nationally or in a world scene, like people are just getting bigger and stronger. And as you said, like a rising tide raises all ships. Some people, you know, aren't, I guess, a massive fan of that because it makes like qualifying standards and just like their road to get to like an Irish singlet a bit harder. Tough shit. Do you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
Sorry, but you know, we're all in this to see the sport grow. So whatever way that happens, you know,
Yeah.
we're here for it.
Clip this for when the new junior standards come out as well, right?
Joe, if it works out for you or not, or even if it like worked out badly for me in like 3 years' time, someone who was stronger than me and I lost my place, like in the greater good, like positive things are happening. So you just have to get,
Just get on board with
you
it.
just have to get behind it. Like, so in a literal sense, with just like the performances like Andrew Blackwood and Jordan Brighton, lots of regional and national lifters put down like in the country. Like you can just see for yourself with like how far we are growing.
Yeah.
And Joe, like 10 years ago, or like back when we all got into the sport, like to think of lifters hitting the numbers that they are now.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Insane.
I would have never thought it. You'd thought, no, that's not going to
I
happen.
remember when a 300 deadlift was like a big deal, or 400 Wilks.
400
We
wins.
got to 4, never mind 5, getting 400 Wilks or a 300 deadlift was like, whoa.
It is funny. I was actually thinking this the other day because I was like how that is a thing where it's like, you know, back in the day when I started, it was like 400 works was like this thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like now it's funny how we've got like in like like most of the lads I coach and stuff, like they have like this beef going on. They're all like under 20, but they're all slagging each other.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you're shit because you don't have 400 dots. So I love the way like back then it was like, but that even just shows how much the standard's gone. That like when I joined, it was like you were like prestige to be hitting 400 Wilks, and now you're a loser if you don't. Like I don't mean that, but that's from the young fella saying that.
but that's like, that's
you know what I mean?
Gone,
But like
we're
that's
saying.
But that's where it's gone. You know, I will say that to the people I love though. Like I will say that to them. But in general,
behind
you're not
your closed
actually.
doors,
Yeah.
you're shit.
Yeah, you know,
exactly.
if Alex gives you a terrible time, makes you feel terrible about yourself, he loves you.
Yeah, it
He
actually,
loves you.
yeah.
That's
You should be
how you
worried
know.
if I'm nice to you.
Yeah, if he's
That's
nice,
the
sure,
truth.
he has no time for that at all. If he treats you like a real piece of shit, that's how you know he's got your back.
DM for coaching. I don't actually do this.
Alex, Mr. Stockholm syndrome himself. So anyway,
What were you even talking about there? I just
Talking about stand-up.
so we're talking about the growth of the sport.
Growth of the sport, yeah.
I think powerlifting has come a long way over the last few years. I think one of the things that stood out for me was the growth of strongman this year in 2024. That really, we saw a big push on that. Again, you can contribute it down to Matty Costello and I think Ger Buckley. They both played the largest hands in it, just making it more visible. You saw Mario from Motion Masters is now doing a lot of the content for Strongman Ireland, which is very, very cool to see. I think seeing that sport grow, making it more accessible for beginners. There was a lot more beginners comps. You saw the growth of Strong Women Ireland as well, which was massive. I think I personally love it. I think it's something that if you're regional level and just into strength sports, I think everybody should kind of dabble in it. I think if you can get, you don't have to have super complicated equipment. There are ways to work around everything, but I definitely think it's worthwhile, especially if you're still building your base of strength or, you know, learning who you are as an athlete or what you actually like and don't like, rather than pigeonholing yourself to these 3 specific lifts. There's actually a whole wide variety out there, and then just kind of dabble around and see where you're at with all of them and ultimately enjoy it. Like I think for me, strongman for general population is going to serve you a lot better than the majority of things that you'll do. But if you are the kind of person that wants to work on your fitness or, you know, improve your strength or improve your body composition, but you don't want to go ham on chicken and broccoli and dieting hard and doing cardio 25 times a day, so maybe that bodybuilding lifestyle is not for you. Maybe you've looked at CrossFit and thought that looks like a bit of you, but a bit too much running or jumping around or gymnastics. Same. You've looked at high rocks and that looks fun, except I don't want to run a kilometer between every other thing that I do.
Yeah.
Strongman might be the one for you. You want to work on being a bit stronger, do some cool shit, and actually just get fit and have fun while doing it. That might be the one. Again, I think there's a bit of everything for everyone out there. Strongman for me is definitely a nice bridge, I think, between actual fitness training, you know, from an aerobic capacity, but also an anaerobic capacity, but also strength. I think it's a nice bridge between strength and fitness. I think it ultimately will have like a lot of the most carryover into general day-to-day living and daily activities. I think it's a very valuable thing to be able to do.
It's just the perfect combination of everything, really.
That'd be, I'm biased with it, but that's because I'm so biased towards, I think everybody should be strong. I could care less how fast you run. If you have a good base level of fitness, I think you can have a general base level of actual aerobic fitness, but I think everybody should have physical strength, and I think it's the most like usable strength that you can have, like picking up, you know,
if you can pick
a
up
dead weight
100
off the
kilo
ground.
stone,
Yeah.
you can pick up 100 kilo anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you can pick it up,
Yeah,
whereas like if you can like sumo deadlift 150, like Alex can, you might not
On a good day.
on a good day, you might not necessarily be able to pick up a 100 kilo sandbag and get it to your shoulder.
Yeah.
It's because it's such a specific skill. The sandbag has a skill, but also it's like It's just sometimes just a bit of brute strength.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And I think that's where you can kind of get a lot from it in day-to-day life. What are some of the contributing factors you think that there was to the growth of strength sports in general? Do we think it's things like social media? Do you think it's certain individuals? What do you think are some of the things that contributed to that growth and maybe recognizing some of the athletes more?
I think it's both. Like social media, like definitely puts eyes on things. Like you were saying with the growth of strongman between Matty and Jer. Like, some people might like certain people, but like one thing you can't not deny is that like those people put eyes on the sport. Like when you look at powerlifting, you see guys like Russell Orhe, John Hack. Throughout the years, you've just got these cool guys that you want to follow.
Yeah.
And be it men, women, whoever, you just see cool people doing cool shit. You just want to get on the back of it.
Yeah.
Like now in the gym, like you'd see young fellas like talking about almost like dots battles between like Taylor Atwood and John Hack, or, whatever. And if social media wasn't a thing and you only heard about these people on open powerlifting, you might just see a name, but you can't put a face to it and you can't see the lifts.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot harder to kind of bridge that gap. But like when you were able to include everyone across the whole world and you can see it, and like you can even physically try and talk to these people. They might not talk back to you, but you can send John Hack a message. I don't know if he's going to respond to you, but the fact you can even try and talk to these people and you can see what they are doing.
Ross, I love you so much.
Just
You're
text
my
me back.
inspo.
Please text me back.
Yeah.
There's 7 messages today and he still isn't texting me back. But I think that's a huge like bridge to that factor. And just seeing that these people like are real, they're just normal. Like granted they may be really strong, but like they're just like all of us, and like you can see what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. I think just people being able to actually present it to a larger audience, I think has really, really contributed to it. I think people are just also seeing that because it's getting out there more, you're getting more eyes on it. People are just like, oh, it's actually cool. I want to actually try this, and whether that be powerlifting, whether that be strongman, whether it be weightlifting or whatever, bodybuilding, whatever your jam is, I think it's just really, really cool to see more people getting more interested in getting into a gym and picking up a bar. I mean, regardless of anything, all strength sports of every description will share a barbell in common, and I think it's really, really cool to see more people getting barbells into their hands, and I think it's class to see it. What are we looking forward to in 2025? Like, what do we have coming up across just strength sports in general, national, international? What's coming up that you guys are particularly excited for?
Well, obviously, a bit biased now towards powerlifting, but definitely Sheffield this year, which is like.
There's 2 this year.
Yeah, there's one in it
Start of the year and the end of the year.
February or is it March? February.
End of January.
January, yeah.
January,
Yeah.
Couple
Sheffield's
weeks.
in January, yeah. What's it called? Yeah, that's going to be insane. I'm so
that'll be massive.
excited. I'm so excited. It's going to be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, Sheffield's going to be
You
class.
going to Sheffield?
Yeah. I got a ticket a few weeks ago, so I'm going. A few of the lads from the gym booting over, so that should be should be great fun.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm going
excited.
to sit it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit it out for my own well-being.
yeah, thank you. You do me a favor as well.
First ball.
Right, yeah, you do me a favor.
Yeah, I've got a comp like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm even the same. I'm going to be like 6 or 7 weeks out, and I'm like, it's going to be so. The bar will be calling my name, whispering in my ear. No.
You're too locked in. Yeah, I think Sheffield's one to look forward to. I think IPF wise, we've got the first comp is 1st and 2nd of Feb. You've
one
got
in
that.
Phenom.
There's the same day. There's the INSF, so the Irish Natural Strongman Federation. They're hosting their nationals. So Natural Ireland's strongest male and female, man and woman on that. I have a couple of people from here, so I'll actually be at that weekend. What else do we have in February? We've got a regional series happening here on the 16th.
We've got University Euros.
University Euros.
is on in Luxembourg. The 20th or till the 24th, something like that.
I haven't had a chance to look at it. Have you seen any weightlifting calendars for this year?
I have seen it in passing, but
Well, I know there's quite a few comps coming up in the first quarter of the year. Like, I mean, all the way up to the end of March is going to be quite busy between Sheffield, Irish PF, strongman comps. I mean, there's multiple. You've got OSG is on. I mean, Squatman is doing. He's doing OSG, Ireland's strongest man.
Was it the
official strongman
16th
game.
March?
Yeah, this is 16th of March. I think that's on with the 120. There's a 120 Ireland's strongest man on the same day, if not It's in around that time anyway. There's a few.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. I think there's a lot coming up to look forward
It's
to.
a mad calendar this year.
Multiple Ab Series events. We've got Ab Series Regional in Chicago.
Do you know what we should actually probably we'll do one up and we'll post it on
We'll
the
do a
Lift
full
Éire. So
calendar,
we'll do
yeah.
a full calendar of every competition this year, every
We'll do a
strength
weightlifting,
comp.
powerlifting,
Yeah.
strongman, and anything else kind of in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot coming up. One of the things that I'm excited to see more of in 2025 is stone lifting.
Yes.
Stone lifting has been living in my head rent free for
Class.
months now.
Yeah.
Myself and yourself were saying it, Jack, that we're
Talking
definitely
about it a lot.
we're talking about stone lifting a lot, and it's something that I'm really intrigued just by kind of the culture and the history of it. It's just there's so much deep rooted history. I want to find out more about it. I think we'll see how things line up over the next couple of months. But I think we were saying we're going to try and organise some Lift Éire road trips to where we'll go.
Yeah,
we'll actually
During
definitely.
the summer, yeah. And
during the summer get out, get after a few stones, and hunt them down, speak to some of the locals
Yeah.
around it, find some of the stories,
We can-
check out the local areas, and I think it'll be fun road
Yeah,
trips.
I think Indiana Stones would be a good lad to reach
Yeah,
out for that.
David
Even just
Keown.
getting him onto
Just
to
getting
this
him
as
on.
well.
I'd love to get him on the podcast.
He's great crack. Like he knows everything about every stone, and he's just one of the nicest people ever. So I think he'd be great to get on.
He'd be the right
and
guy to talk to.
he'd probably go on the road trips with us as well. Like,
That's
do
what
you
you
know
want.
I mean?
You want
He's-
someone like that.
Yeah, because I went
Bring
to
the
one.
banjo.
I can't remember where it was exactly, but a few months back, I went there. I think it was somewhere out in Tipperary or something. I could be completely wrong there, but it was like an hour and a half drive, and
Is
went
this
out and we all
during EPC?
during EPC. Yeah, so it was like there was all the guests from EPC, myself and Squatman and Jamie Mack who went out, and we were all trying to take crack off lifting the stones. It was actually so fun. It's actually so hard.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
humbles you.
And there's
It
no
humbles
warm-up.
you. I picked up the woman's stone, and I was delighted with myself. And then none of us, except for Squatman, could get the man stone, is what they call it, off the floor.
That young fella's built different.
He is.
Oh, he's different.
He's just yeah.
He's very different, but he loves the suffering. He loves
He loves
the
it.
misery. I think that's him watching him dabbling strong. Oh yeah, you're going to do well here. You love the misery.
No, I'm even looking at him training. I'm like, I think powerlifting's been too soft for you. I actually think that's what he's not his problem, because he made great progress, but like it's almost like he's the type of person, not to do it, but like he's gotten like a bit bored of it, because it's like there's none of that to it. You know what I mean? It's almost too easy. Like you just show up, put in the work, recover properly, and you're fine.
Yeah,
That's how you do it. Rinse and repeat that cycle. But like strongman, like we're finished the first block. And he's still in bits, like, do you know what I mean? Every day it's like a new pain that's popping up, and it's like,
And he's
Yeah,
loving it.
and he
actual pain.
loves it.
It's
He
actual
loves
pain,
it. Yeah, real pain. Like this guy's covered in bruises and marks, all over his body.
We'll have to show that picture.
No, we're not.
Not that today.
We get
Jamie,
fucking cancelled.
pull it up there.
Yeah, he's the picture that we're referring to. He tried on a deadlift suit, a single ply deadlift suit that we gave him,
Just like an hour ago, just before we started recording.
and he sent a very interesting picture of himself, of his marks.
I could see all the marks left on his body.
If we ever do a Lift Éire calendar, I can promise you,
Mr. February.
there's Mr. February right there. My God, I'm never getting that image out of my mind.
Nah.
We'll save that for the yeah. So 2025, lots coming up. Any particular emerging stars, like anyone in particular looking forward to seeing? Like obviously for me, seeing Jodie Stevens make her Irish PF comeback. Love to see her and Jordan Bright get into it some way. I know they're in different weight classes, but I'd love to see something
even a
later in the year.
battle,
Just a battle there. Any kind of upcoming stars in terms of juniors that are breaking through that are going to start making some waves? I know for me, I'm really excited to see what Alicia Russell does, a lifter of my own. This year, I think, is going to be a big year for her in terms of, I think she's probably going to qualify for an Irish singlet. I think she'll probably do well at junior nats. She's not going to put up these like crazy ass numbers, but you're just going to see, for me, it's like you're gonna it's almost like looking into the future for where she could go. I think that really excites me with lifters like her to go, oh, I think you're gonna be special down the line. I think you just keep, she works so hard,
I was just gonna say, you see it, like you can see it in her training. She really gives a shit and like tries, and like her progression has just been like that. The last few months,
she's
like,
just there's no let up in her. She's just just cool as a breeze. Doesn't like get overwhelmed by it all. I think like I'm really excited to see where she goes. I'm excited to see how you get on in the Irish PF this year, especially like pushing for a podium position and seeing how you kind of grow as an athlete there. Seeing Kerry actually get to be part of the Irish PF, seeing where she can finish up and mature as an athlete. There's a lot, I think, in strongman. I'm excited for the natural strongman scene to see how that progresses, or seeing lifters like Owen or myself or Tom, my own partner Emma, she's moving into strongman. Just seeing how everybody kind of fares out and gets, you know, how we can all positively contribute towards that sport, whether it's being more involved in it, whether it's volunteering or equipment or just having larger audiences and crowds, new eyes coming to that sport. Weightlifting, I'd love to, like I said, I'm going to try and learn more about. I know Aoife Moore is coming up with Jade Harkin next weekend. So I'm interested to speak to Aoife and kind of get an idea of what is this world like?
Yeah,
how do I get into it? How do I get it more
Tell
in
me
front
more.
of me? Yeah, you know. Any particular athletes, Jack, that you're looking forward to seeing this year?
I don't have any particular athletes as such, but I'm really
Besides yourself.
Besides me,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just a Jack Kenny show. You know?
Yeah, just go on, just talk about yourself there. Go on. Go on.
But carry on from the point you were making, Ian. I'm really interested to see almost how the crossover episode works with powerlifters getting into strongman, and you know, it would be cool to see like some strongmen get into powerlifting.
Yeah.
Because as well, I know there's a good few people from here, like Owen. I think there's a few people from Chaos, like Scott Dean is also dabbling in like a small bit of strongman training. I think
no way.
Oh yeah.
I know he's getting ready for abs series in April.
Oh well, maybe it was just something I saw online that it was just a few of them were just like maybe just fucking
Just a
around.
fuck about session, like
fuck about session.
But
Still,
But
like
it is just that idea of like people getting to a certain place and just realizing that like what is, it's not going to go away.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can just take a break for even a day or two or a few weeks and just try out something fun, just you know, for the crack.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's cool, like you were saying there. It's like I like that now. A fuck about session is playing with stones or logs,
Yeah.
And not just
like
maxing
not
out
maxing
your
out on a
bench.
deadlift bar or squatting with wraps for like the first time ever or something, like just send it. It's like, oh yeah, like we can still push these things, like, you know, it's still working towards strength, but it's still fun. It's a bit of
Yeah,
crack.
well, trying out another sport.
Yeah,
I think that's what
cool.
makes it cool. I think it's cool to, you're right. I think it's cool to see people be able to like, all right, it's a fuck around week because I just competed. So what am I, rather than getting on the trap bar or a slingshot, I'm going to actually go and I'm going to pick up these sandbags. I'm going to try yoke or some farmers. I think that's really, really cool to be able to see. You know who I'm excited to see actually? Breen.
No, of course.
Breen
Yeah,
and AJ.
of course.
I'm excited to see Ham. I'm excited to see
I
Ham.
want to. I just want to see that battle in person.
I want to see them arm wrestle again.
I hate seeing people do that. It just irks me so much.
Well, after
Yeah, I know.
after seeing Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw arm wrestle, I'm kind of like,
No, all right.
I'd like to try it.
Man, the
No,
day
man.
after that whole
No.
thing, just for hours.
Yeah,
I'm
arm wrestling.
buying a table. I'm buying a table.
I'm buying a table.
I'm surprised.
What
there's
happened the
not one
last
bought,
time
yeah.
you went arm wrestling? Your fucking bicep was at you for weeks.
Still one.
Yeah, but there was a cost to
Listen,
it.
Nah,
Every fucking training session the last
Biceps,
2 weeks.
biceps are temporary. Glory is forever.
Well, your biceps are fucking temporary.
yeah, fact.
Not my new one. Not my new one. I don't even think this is mine, to be honest. Yeah, I would like to try it, but is it just that the skill set is just like, it's not just getting on a table and just like, there's a whole like thing.
There's
to
a
it.
whole thing to it. Yeah, there's technique and stuff.
I'd like to
mad.
like actually find out more and be like, oh no, you're still gonna get as fucked up. You're just gonna get better at getting fucked up.
Well, even talking about trips, like I think it would be a cool idea to go to the Lallis brothers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
get
That
down
would
to the
be a
Lallis
really good
brothers
trip.
and Kilkenny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
going out to
class.
see the boys.
Because even, do you remember we were watching the video of when Eddie went in an arm wrestle against Lallis?
Yeah,
And he was in the back just telling him how to grip his hand.
Yeah,
how
yeah,
to
yeah.
actually pull.
yeah, how to turn it.
Now
and-
he still marked him.
Yeah, he marked him.
But he, fought him for a good 10, 20 seconds.
yeah, well, he played with him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He was just laughing.
Yeah,
at him, slapping his arm down.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that'd be cool. What about yourself, Maeve? Anything you're excited about for 2025? Any particular events coming up?
Any particular events? Personally, I'm like quite excited to hopefully do an open nationals. I said this to Alex. I was like, but what if I still don't qualify? He's like, fuck's sake.
Sure.
You've already qualified.
No, I know.
Literally, like.
I know, but I'm mental.
Do we
What
need
if
to
they
go
take
back
it
to
back
this?
off me?
The other night, I just throwing abuse at you for like an hour and a half, just like Maeve, shut up, man.
But what if it wasn't real?
Yeah. Imagine you just.
It was real.
What if it wasn't? No, I'm very excited for myself to obviously get into that scene. Like it took me like the bones of 4 or 5 years to actually put up a QT. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see here grow even more, and obviously the couple of regional comps that we'll do, and to have like an Irish PF comp here.
Yeah,
I'm very
first
excited
class.
for that.
Yeah,
It's gonna be class.
really excited for that. Yeah, I think there's a lot coming up. Reach Rumble.
Yeah.
That's Reach Rumble 2. That's going to be Clash of Titans.
Yeah,
3,
all of the abs comps,
like
to be
all
honest.
the abs
like, yeah.
comps. I'm looking forward to being involved in those and competing at some of them. I'm definitely going to try my best. I'll see how the schedule goes. The plan now is to do sleeves. I would love to squat 300 in sleeves this year. That's kind of like a loose goal, but I would love to do it in October in Utah at the Reach Rumble. There's a Grand Prix there, weight class 1, sleeves only. So I'll see how things kind of line up. But if everything lines up the way it looks now, that'd be the plan. That'll be my second powerlifting comp of the year. And probably the only 2 that I'll do. But I would love to do that. And the goal would be to try and match my total from April in October, but in sleeves, and hopefully chest down to 300 squat. I think that'd be a really cool box to tick this year. Definitely looking forward to doing more, like showing more initiative in the sport, maybe hosting some workshops. Now I know, Maeve, you did a workshop recently. We're going to put that on our website. We do have a website, by the way, for Lift Éire, but we're going to start to promote it more. We're going to have comp calendars on it. You're going to have free content on that as well available to you, like Maeve's workshop. What was the title of your workshop, Maeve?
Lift in Sync.
Lift in Sync, and that was to do with the menstrual cycle for weight class based athletes. So there's a whole pile of I'm putting more information out there. The spotting loading workshop, that I'm still waiting to finalize a date for it, and who's going to be doing it. It's lining it up around comps is seems to be some of the tricky part with it, because I don't want there to be too much interference. I want anyone that can avail of it to be available. So I promise, last time I'm promising, next week we'll announce it. I know we're going to be involved in some way, whether through media or just a presence there, but definitely from a promotion standpoint. We're going to be there to take pictures as well. Frank will be there with the camera at the Irish Pro. I think that's going to be a huge comp. And again, just on our back door, Irish Pro is always massive. There's going to be lifters from all over the world travel to that. With for the it's WPC, isn't it? It is WPC. World Powerlifting Congress, I believe, is the name of the federation. And that's the Irish PO is the Irish equivalent of the WPC.
And isn't the IPL a faction of the IPO, or is that something
No,
else?
IPL is the International Powerlifting League. So
And you've
Brody
the
runs that as well.
AIPO, That's
AIPO is the amateur, so that's the
Yeah.
drug tested side. And because you've the AWPC, which is the drug tested WPC. And then you've IPL has tested and untested as well. And I think Brody runs those. I think he's also running some WRPF comps as well at the
I
moment.
think so.
He did the Winter Classic. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah. He doesn't stop.
No, he doesn't. He's been around for decades. So I was
He
speaking to
has
him recently.
forgotten more in the sport than probably people
Will
would
ever
have.
learn. Yeah. I spoke to Brody a couple of weeks ago. We had a good chat. So hopefully we're hoping to get him on the podcast over the next couple of months as well. Just trying to line that up. So I'd love to get Brody on. Potentially Jermac as well down the line about get some stories from him about his time with Louis Simmons.
I think that'd be cool.
I think there's lots that we have coming up this year. So I'm just really excited to be more involved in the strength community and kind of grow Lift Éire overall and see really how we can get more eyes on strength sports in Ireland, and really kind of set a tone for 2025. So I want to just bring up, I think we put up a question box on our story yesterday. So I would like to just see if there's anything that PC that we can get into here. So, all right, we have consistency and longevity in strength. So there's a couple of questions there, but I want to go consistency and longevity in strength sports. So that was from Popine Darragh. I think she competes quite a bit in the IPO. If memory serves me correct. Any advice there, guys, for consistency and longevity in strength sports? Maeve, you want to start?
Well, I think for me, the biggest thing, and I'm definitely still learning to do this, is to take the small wins, because that will definitely keep you more process oriented if you're constantly setting smaller goals block to block and actually acknowledging that you achieved them goals, or if you didn't, how could you essentially achieve them in the next block?
Yeah, fair. Jack, what about yourself? Any tips or advice for consistency and longevity in strength sports?
I guess just play the long game. This is a game of outlasting your competition. People come and go quite often. It's got a high burnout rate. maybe that's just due to the fact that the barrier for entry in the sport is quite low. But still, nonetheless, if you want to achieve goals and you want to do something worthwhile, like you're going to have to be at this for a good few years.
Yeah.
I know some people come and they hit the ground running, and they might be gone in 2 years, and they might do something really cool. But that's not the case for an awful lot of us. You have to be willing to spend 5, 10 plus years at this. I remember watching a Mark Bell video years ago, and this one quote stuck with me forever. And this guy asked him, he said, what's the secret to squatting 1,000 pounds? He said, well, there's 3 things. He said, 1, you got to follow a program. So just get a good coach, good programming. He said, don't get injured. Because if you get injured, best case scenario, you will just stay where you are, but you'll probably go back. He said, do that for at least 10 years.
Yep.
And then maybe you'll squat 1,000 pounds.
Yep.
So I think that's the case. Of just have a good goal, work towards it, take those small wins. Because I remember years ago when I first got into the sport, and you'd see people counting their 5 rep squat bar PR, thinking, Jesus, why are you even looking at that?
Yeah.
But when you get deep enough, like those
You gotta
PRs,
you'll take anything.
You'll take anything you can get.
100%.
So just stay at it.
Yeah.
Yourself, Alex.
Yeah. So I think kind of agreeing with everyone, like what everyone was saying, like just kind of actually just being, I know the key to consistency is just being consistent, right? But it's like obviously knowing that it's a long game. Like I've never, even right now where I'm at, I'm almost a decade in the sport, and I don't plan on being where I want to be till another decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So it's like being realistic with that. And then number 2, like what thing that I'd really like to touch on is like your environment and the people you spend your time around, right? Like almost like forcing yourself to make it fun. Like there was something that I did for such a fucking long time, and I'm still only getting better at it now. But it was like I used to always just like view training as a chore, because like I was like, it was like training was like a job to me. You know what I mean? Because my goal was to be X lifter, hit this total or achieve this or that or the other in the sport. Where I got so caught up in just that like I was like, if I wasn't enjoying training, I was like still forcing myself to go through it. I'm not saying to put your foot off the pedal if you aren't enjoying training, but it's like change things up. Like if I'm going through a rut in my training, I'll just go to a different gym for a week. I'll just like deload. I'll go to a commercial gym. I'll just be around different people. I'll do different things. I'll ask my mates who don't even powerlift, oh, do you want to go and do a gym session? And then we'll like train together. Yeah. Like I'll change the environment I'm in. I'll like constantly try and mix things up for yourself, because like it's a boring sport. Like I said, like we all know that, right? Like we've been in this long enough that like you have to be okay with it being boring and tipping along. So it's like putting yourself in a situation where you can be constantly enjoying it, even if like training's going terrible, or if you're having like a really boring week of training, or if you're injured. But if you're around good people and you're in a good environment, you're still going to come out of that session feeling way better than if you're in a gym, you're in a commercial gym with shitty equipment, you don't like anyone around you, there's fucking shitty commercial gym music, like all of these sorts of things. I'm not saying join a powerlifting club and blah, blah, but like just find a circle, whether that's 2 people, 1 person, just find people you enjoy being around, that you can kind of bounce off each other well, and like it actually makes you want to come in and train, hold you that bit more accountable. Because I know if I didn't throughout my career, if I didn't have certain people by my side, I probably would have quit ages ago. You know what I mean? I can imagine why so many people do. Like if I was training in a different gym around a load of people I didn't want to be around all the time, with like this kind of like negative energy, I'd fucking quit as well as soon as it got a bit difficult, So like give yourself other reasons besides the weight on the bar and how you feel session to session to stay within it, because otherwise, like with anything else, like things always come to they'll either slow down or come to a halt at some stage. You know what I mean? So like you have to be expecting of that. So I think if you have the right people around you and you're in the right environment, you'll keep going even when things aren't going the way you want them to. Yeah. I think that's going to be the main thing, because things are never going to go the way you want. Like even like, I know obviously it's just Mark Bell saying it, but like don't get injured. The odds of that happening to anybody are like, like anyone, even if it's just a small niggle. So I think like setting yourself up to be in that place where, right, I am injured and I have to take, 2 months with my foot off the pedal as much. But at least I'm coming in, I'm actually still excited to go to the gym and be around these people and have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about all this, like I know how to do it myself. Like I'm still only learning.
Do as I say.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but I think that would be the main thing of being like consistent and longevity. Is just like finding novelty within training, whether that's people or what you're doing within your training or anything like that. Just do things to force yourself to stay in it,
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think you said you hit the nail on the head there for me. It's finding novelty within training.
Yeah.
I think finding a great community is always going to serve you massively. But again, it can be difficult to rely on just, especially when you're in it for a long time. People's lives change, so your environment is going to evolve over time and change. That's natural. So don't make that your only. I mean, it's definitely a huge part. Make friends is massively important. Everybody should be doing that. It's one of the best things about the strength community in Ireland is that it's filled with wonderful weirdos. So, I mean, facts. True, you're looking at 4 of them.
Absolutely.
So I think having that community is massive, but novelty, man. I think novel stimulus can do a lot just to keep you interested, especially if you're getting super specific and as you become more competitive, that can really kind of it can bore you. It can bore you. It can be easy to take your foot off the gas. I think in terms of building longevity, it's just don't go all out and go that hard all the time. Just take it to like 70-80% most of the time. There's a time and a place.
You stay in that sweet spot.
Stay in a sweet spot.
Most of the year, you're flying it.
Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Don't go wild all the time. There's a time and a place for it where it's massively beneficial and it's fun. But for the most part, just tip along, enjoy it. You know, set yourself smaller goals that are actually achievable and tangible in a moment. Versus like setting yourself up for the end of a block to go, I want to squat this for 3 or 5 or 8 or whatever's been programmed at the end of the block. Setting these small goals and building towards those.
But also not wanting to quit after if you don't hit that number at the end of the block, because that's what happens, isn't it?
I think learning to goal set appropriately, working with a coach or somebody, and actually getting to have conversations with people and go, okay, what do you think is realistic for me to squat for at the end of the block for this reps? What would be a new 5 rep PR for me in this lift? Things like that are very, very important. Or if you're doing strongman, for example, like trying to get, let's say you're on a 50 kilo sandbag and you're banging that out for reps, trying to get the 75 to shoulder, or picking a certain stone off the floor and lapping it, like building towards those things and structuring your training around. I think that's going to build for consistency and longevity. What about yourself, Maeve? Any kind of takeaway tips there for longevity and consistency in the sports?
I did mine at the start.
Oh, you did. You did yours already. It's been a long Christmas. Since. Listen, I'm over here. Like, who's going to carry the boats?
Oh, I fucking hate that saying.
You're not into David Goggins, no?
Love David Goggins.
I hate that saying. When I was coaching like under 14s, under 15s, they'd spend the whole session roaring that at one another.
That's class. That's
would
unreal.
Yeah.
That is like the most ideal class
and
to
that
coach.
right there is the difference between boys and girls.
Girls don't want to carry boats.
There you go.
No, we're not
But
saying
that's
that's
not smart.
true.
Why the fuck would you want to carry a boat? Work smarter, not harder.
I'm not saying
Don't
girls
know
don't
the
want to
lore,
carry
man.
boats. Maeve is saying girls don't carry boats.
Oh wow.
So if anyone would like to let us know if that's correct or not. I mean,
I'm not saying we can't. I'm just saying
no
maybe
one's saying
we
you
don't want
can't.
to.
It's just, I mean,
But
maybe.
just you're saying you shouldn't.
No, I never said you
All right,
shouldn't.
all right, cool. It's grand. All right, well, guys, I think
Well then, remember that bet we made at the start of this?
what was the bet?
That I wouldn't cry.
You don't need to cry over that. No one's going to attack you in the comments. Everybody attack her.
Oh my god, stop.
Just for fun. Alex gets attacked in the comments. The
I do actually, yeah.
Yeah, but Alex
Get
can
called
take
vanilla
it.
ice and shit.
I think I deserve it.
No, you don't deserve it, but you can take it.
Yeah, sure. I'd probably be dishing it out more than most people anyway. So
Yeah, no,
It's
guys, I think any parting words?
no.
No, I guess not. I guess not.
I was trying to think of something
I was trying
like
to think of something
inspirational,
I was
but
like
nah.
Mr. Profound over these days. No, I think that is it. I just wanted to. I'm excited that we got onto it today, and just I wanted to start the new year with a bang and get back recording. It's been a couple of weeks since we had one coming out. We've a lot of really interesting content coming up for everybody. So if you stuck with it this long, thank you very much for tuning in. I've been your host Ian Benson, host Alex, host Maeve, host Jack. He's here to stay. Thank you very, very much. Make sure that you like, you subscribe. Please do share. It all helps us grow. If you've got anything that you want us to cover next week or cover over the next couple of episodes, please hit us up in our comments or hit us up with a DM. We're always up for suggestions. We do have a lot of guests planned as well coming up for this year. So very, very exciting times ahead. Guys, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shine.